Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Psycho, and I've got another Outcast video for you all today. And this one is actually going to be a review of the Season 1 premiere titled A Darkness Surrounds Him. Now, this will be a spoiler-free review. I do plan on doing a spoiler review. However, considering this episode hasn't officially came out on the Cinemax channel yet, I will wait a few days before doing my spoiler review. But if you all do want to watch episode 1 for free, legally right now, I will leave a link below. It's on the Cinemax YouTube page, and you can watch the full first episode for free. And I would absolutely recommend you all checking that out. Not only is this a spoiler-free review for that reason, but also for people that are kind of interested in the show, but they don't really know if it's going to be worth watching yet. So I'm just going to try and get my thoughts out upon this episode, and my ideas of whether you should try and give this show a shot. Right off the bat, I just want to say yes. Absolutely. Give this show a chance. This is one of those shows that I came in pretty confident that it will be pretty good. However, I wasn't really sure about the acting and other aspects of this show. I can gladly say that the acting was a whole lot better than what I was worrying it was going to be. And that's a very good thing, considering the main character of this TV show is basically acting in this as his breakout role. So to my knowledge, considering what I've heard from other people, he's never really had this big breakout role where his acting career has become iconic yet. So that's always something that worries me, especially with an actor I'm not completely familiar with. It's nice to see that the acting is a lot better than I was expecting. However, this little aspect right here isn't the best part. Some of my favorite things that I noticed from this first episode was the soundtrack and sound effects and the storytelling. Even the opening credits scene was just fantastic. I love the visuals, I love the soundtrack and sound effects going on there. It's just so awesome to see this happening here, and seeing another part of Robert Kirkman's creations coming to life in an effective way. By the storytelling being great, what I mean by this is that the directors and producers, they give you this story and they let you piece it together on your own. They don't just spoon-feed the audience and say, oh well, this is what happened, that's what happened, the main character says exactly what happened. That's not how they do it. They may show you a scene in bits and pieces, and then show you other scenes in bits and pieces, and then weave those two storylines together, and you most likely will finally realize, oh, well, that makes sense now, this is how that works. That's always been something that I really appreciate. They don't underestimate the audience and think, oh, well, we have to tell them every single thing that's going on, or they won't understand what's happening. They throw us out there and treat us like mature individuals that can figure out the storyline on our own. The way that they handled this was perfectly, in my opinion, because it doesn't just seal the deal at the beginning of this episode. It will give you bits and pieces of this storyline, and then finally at the end, you understand everything that happened. There's also smaller pieces of the storyline that aren't exactly needed for you to understand the whole story, but it's some really cool pieces of insight to where you might catch them and you might not catch them. Now specifically, I can't discuss it right now, but I will in my spoiler review, but I just think that's something that's cool in addition as well. Now I want to move on to the horror aspect of this TV show. Of course, if you do have a little bit of the gist of Outcast, it involves possessions and things along the lines of that, so I want to discuss a little bit involving the horror, because that's going to be one of the most important things when it comes to this television show. There's a certain possession scene in this episode that I won't spoil, but it is just absolutely awesome. In addition to that, there's an opening scene that you really won't expect coming if you haven't looked at any of the teasers. It's just something that's really, really gruesome, but it's also awesome in addition. The possession scene was done very well. There was a lot of great acting, especially on the person getting possessed. I'm not going to go in detail onto that person, but that actress or actor, I'm not going to spoil which, they did a great job, especially given the circumstances that they were in. Overall, this episode was just an excellent way to start a series, and especially it being free on YouTube, for a lot of people that may not even have the Cinemax channel, it's definitely an incentive for maybe a person to decide, well, this show is very good, I might consider buying the subscription. So I feel like they had a great marketing strategy, and they showed some audience members a lot of respect by committing this bold move early, and then them just giving out this episode for free. So I really, really respect the creators and the marketing team out there for Cinemax. They're showing that they're doing things right, they're not being greedy, especially with them giving us a free episode. Overall, there's just nothing I can complain about, and I would recommend this TV show to anyone. At least watch the first episode and see what you think about it. It starts out pretty awesome, and then we get a little bit of a slow burn, and the ending's very awesome as well. So I would really recommend you all taking a look at this TV show. These are pretty much my final thoughts on this episode. I would recommend this to anyone. I really appreciate you all watching, and make sure to stay tuned for more Outcast content. I definitely plan on doing news videos, reviews, and much more. As always, thanks again, guys. Peace out.